Let's go out there like a bunch of crazy dogs.
My camera. How about them Giants? How about them Giants? How about them Giants?
Woo! What happening, people? Welcome to another episode of Giants Rush, where we talk about Giants football every single week. And this week, we get to talk again for the second week in a row about drama, about some old, beat up, washed up, PED using broken down wide receiver, and we're supposed to make sure everybody knows he deserves a chance like everybody else. So stop throwing shade out there on the people who love OBJ. You have to love OBJ because of the nostalgia that's attached to him. What If is the name of the show. So if OBJ can hold down the job, why don't we give him the job, right? That's what it comes down to. Bring him into camp, talk about that. Actually, we got to talk about playmakers in the last 25 years. That's also important, right? Who's the biggest playmakers in the last 25 years? Have we had any big-time playmakers in the last 25 years? We do have them, right? So let's talk about that. I got Chris and I got Sean. We're going to talk about a little bit about the D-tackle position. We'll talk about some running backs, since love is definitely a hot commodity out there in the NFL draft. And then, of course, we have to talk about are the comments on? Yep, comments are on. It says that the comments are on. Let's just crank this thing up, get everybody in here. Let's talk some football because there is plenty to talk about. The other thing that's pretty interesting is running back D tackle is also something that we haven't spent a lot of time on. We definitely want to get into that.
It's good to be the king.
Always good to be the king.
You can call me.
Yo, yo, and yo.
Yo, yo, yo. I just got to say, man, I love my intro. I love the beginning. I love the end. It gets me fired up. It's going to be another great show. You already started off in the beginning, so I know what the show is going to be like tonight. I'm prepared.
Yeah.
Joker's coming out tonight.
I know. We got to listen to everybody whine about nostalgia, blah, blah, blah. And you know what? That's cool. It's good that we've got things to talk about because normally at this time for the last, 4 years, it's been like we're hoping on a draft pick to change the entire fabric of the team, right? If we're arguing over OBJ, it's kind of like a good problem to have, right?
Absolutely. Yes.
Because normally at this time, we're like, man, we are getting Abdul Carter. Man, we are going to get, I don't know, work with me. Who was our first round draft pick 2 years ago? Why am I drawing a
Malik
blank?
Neighbors.
Malik Neighbors, and then, and Tibbs and so forth, right?
Yep.
So that's all we've had to talk about. We've got some other things to talk about, which is a good thing for us.
Absolutely.
That means we're headed in the right direction.
That's right. And we got it.
He is the man. Well, the Cavs are tough enough. It's over here giving themselves a beer bath.
That was my bad. I didn't mean to cut you off there. I apologize.
I was like, we got to bring in Chris, and he cut me off.
Yeah, I did.
What's up, guys?
We got to bring in the enforcer.
Yeah, sure.
See, I didn't say anything, Chris. That was him, not me.
I didn't either. I said it differently. I just said the enforcer.
I didn't even say anything about your 21-inch arm.
Oh, yeah, there you go. See?
Far from it, but thank you.
So gentlemen, as I was just saying, it's actually fun to be able to debate over something like Odell, right? Because normally we're kind of pining away for the draft, you know what I mean? And finding like diamonds in the rough to make this team better. Like, so if we're going to argue about our wide receiver number 5, who got caught for PEDs and has had 2 or 3 knee surgeries and is going to potentially be wide receiver number 5 or 6, not a bad place to be, right? That means that we're going trending in the right direction. No?
That's funny. Yeah, I guess. Yeah. We are going in that direction, though. Yeah.
Right. Think about it. Normally, this time, we're just talking about the draft.
Right.
What we can bring in to be better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now we're arguing over wide receiver number 5, 6, maybe 7, maybe the water boy. It's not a bad place to be.
And a lot of other things we're talking about, too.
Yeah. Defense. We're going to talk D-tackle. We're going to talk running back. We're going to talk about I actually wanted to get your guys' opinion on Playmakers, so we're going to talk a little bit about that.
And the Gano era is over.
Gano, yeah. And then you know what? I think it was a classy move. I think they all had an understanding, right, that he was going to, get cut. And I, like I said, I like Gano. Just turned out the last 2 years, potentially 2.5 years, the guy's been hurt, and it's nothing against his character.
Yeah, and he recently had neck surgery. I don't know where that came from.
Yeah, they cut him failed physical as
so
the designation.
Yeah, which, by the way, who knows if that's even accurate, right? That could just be a way of, maybe just letting him go, let him down easy, right? So down goes Gano. Yeah, 100% Cold. See, Cold's here, so the comments must be on there,
Yep.
Joker, because I can see Cold.
All right, good.
Right, there you go. And then I got G-Man R7I. Man, R7I. That's a mouthful, too. We got to come up with a nickname for R7I. All right, let's do love-hate. But here's the twist, gentlemen, on love-hate. I always thought, like, when Odell, who was so electric when he came in the league, it was like Odell Beckham, right? Odell Beckham Jr. And we used to talk about, in case you don't know this, Shaquille O'Neal is Beckham's godfather, because Shaquille O'Neal and Odell Beckham Sr. were roommates in college.
Yep.
So, there's this whole LSU thing, this whole, want to be great thing, which runs into blood, right? So I thought Odell, was unique, and then somewhere along the line became OBJ. I compared it to like Lawrence Taylor. Lawrence Taylor came in as Lawrence Taylor, and somehow his alter ego, kind of like you, Sean, his alter ego was LT. And I've seen plenty of interviews where Taylor talks about LT, right? Like if he's wearing the earring, LT's coming out. So I thought a little bit that does kind of fit into this mold. OBJ, Odell Beckham Jr. coming in the league, taking it by storm as Odell, and then somewhere along the line became OBJ. So the love-hate is I need something about, guys, and I'm gonna play our little intro. I love that. Okay, love-hate, guys. It replaces how we normally, and during the season when we do studs and duds. This is love-hate, in case you're new to the show. We're talking about Odell Beckham. So I want to know, Chris, start with you. I need something that you love, maybe about Odell Beckham, that you don't love about OBJ, because they are two different players. The way Odell came in the league and the way Odell, or I should say, came into the Giants, and what he, how he left the Giants with the trade and in bashing Eli and that whole the model in the hotel with the powdery substance, all that stuff that wrapped around OBJ. Give me something that you loved about Odell Beckham Jr., something you hate about OBJ.
All right. It's something you love about OBJ. I mean, listen, from all you heard is he practices hard. He gives 100% on the field. There was never a question about his effort, right? Never a question about his effort and going across the middle, making plays, heart, right? He has all the heart, and that's something I guess, Harbaugh actually looks at. But something you hate, I think he's grown up. I think he's matured. But one thing you did hate was he would kind of lose his composure at times, right? We saw that, in the Panthers game,
Green Bay.
We saw with the kick in that. I mean, stuff like that. The peeing in the end zone. But I think that's long gone. That's history. I think he's matured, and but that was one thing, that you were kind of waiting for him sometimes to lose his composure.
It's a good point. Composure is part of the game, right? Some of the best receivers have composure. Some of the best receivers do not have composure, right? So it can go both ways, right? How about you, Sean? Something that you love about Odell Beckham Jr., something you hate about OBJ.
Yeah, I think OBJ that I hated was his selfishness at times got in the way. What I love about Odell now is to Chris's point, when he's gone to other teams, he hasn't been a distraction. Like when he was with Baltimore, was at Miami, like you don't hear about he's a distraction. He's not.
In Cleveland, there was some stories, but that was probably fresh off being traded.
That was early on in this thing, but it wasn't quite the same. So I think we're good there. So that is something, in my opinion, that I do love. Is it seems like he understands how not to be a distraction anymore and be more about the team. So I like that. And I think he also has this realization that he can be a mentor now, and he may understand what it means to be a mentor in this league. That's my opinion.
Okay. I like your opinion. When Odell came in, I actually thought he was the most electric player since Lawrence Taylor. Like it was that eye-opening, right? Where he just came in. We had to wait 3 weeks for him to play because he had that hamstring issue. And then he just took over, right? Like it was like crazy, right? And I thought as Odell Beckham Jr., he wanted to be great. Like he said, I want to be one of the greatest wide receivers this game has ever seen. I thought he wanted to compete every single week, right?
Yep.
The OBJ side of it, I wasn't a fan of because I sometimes felt he wanted to be bigger than the Giants, right? My quarterback doesn't matter. My coach doesn't matter. The as Chris alluded to, the spectacle on the sideline doesn't matter. I'm OBJ. In the beginning, when he was Beckham and he was doing the what was that very first dance he was doing? The whip and the nay-nay, right? Like when he was doing that, it was fun.
Hey, Craig, how about when he used to, we were at the games, how about when he used to spin the ball during pregame warmups and kick field goals?
Yeah, catch it, drop
Crazy,
it, spin it, kick it. Yeah. Yeah, he was fun and he was entertaining, and I loved that about him. You know what I mean? I love that. Like I said, that whole whip nay-nay, stuff that he was doing cold. I'm probably messing that up, so you can help me out there because I know cold is always killing me on my verbiage. But I did think it was fun, right? I did think it was a lot of fun. And then somewhere along the line, he became OBJ. And the first thing I thought of was he's bigger than the team. The kicking that was obnoxious. It was stupid. It was immature. And then I've never seen anybody do anything that stupid. Like, and then double down on it. And then the next week go back and do it again. Right. Just dumb. No, Cole, not because you're a black dude. Because you're always correcting me every single week.
Because you're hip, Cold. You're hip.
Yeah, because you're hip.
Cold's black?
Right, I was gonna say,
Cold, I had no idea. Where are you?
Exactly. Love it. Cold, you're the best.
I thought he was really tan.
Exactly. You're the best, Cold.
I thought he was hanging out with Mark in Barbados and he was working on his tan.
Yeah, exactly. The other thing was, I think he also, he could see how influential he was, right? Everybody, all the kids wanted to dye their hair, right? Everybody wanted the Beckham. You'd go to the barber and ask for a Beckham haircut, right? Like guys would do that stuff, right? He was very influential. What kills me about the OBJ part was he could have been part of the solution if he didn't make it about himself. He could have been part of the solution, right? It just became a one-man show. Like, hey, we suck, so I'm going to make this about me. He just could have been part of the solution. So I don't know if he could see, the forest through the trees. So
in fairness, though, I don't, other than Coughlin, who did decent with him, he didn't really have the structure he needed as a head coach. He had McAdoo, and then he had Shermer was not, yes, he was the adult in the room, but he wasn't that coach that Beckham needed, which is why I think when he got with McVay, he got with Harbaugh, you see a little different. So not making excuses for who he was, but I do think the type of head coach plays a role in that for sure.
Yeah. Cole's got a good point here. I think he's talking about Iverson right here, right? So I
Yeah.
would have compared his influence more to an AI in basketball, right? For Iverson. Yeah, potentially. Like I see, this is kind of the stuff that I don't understand because Sean, your point's so good. But at that point, Coughlin or no Coughlin, I'm depending on him to be a vet and be a pro, not an idiot and not complain that the coaching isn't there anymore. Like at some point, he's got to be the guy, and I mean off the field guy. He's
Right,
on the
yeah,
field, the guy. So I'm just making that point is like your point is awesome, right? Is that there wasn't anybody there for him, like to keep him, I guess, in line. I don't know. You're in 5 years, 6 years. You need a coach to keep you in line. I mean, I don't know. I would hope more. I would hope and expect more out of him. But either way, they're all good. They're all good points. They're all very, very good points. People think I hate OBJ. I do not. All my kids had OBJ, jerseys. We had OBJ fat heads on the wall. Chris, I'm sure your kids probably had OBJ fat heads on the wall.
Absolutely.
Like, somebody that was really good that just imploded, that way. That's why I was saying to you, Sean, like, yes, he got better when he went to the Rams and when he went to Baltimore. Maybe not, I know the Miami thing was just kind of, got paid. But I don't know. Like I said, he could be part of the solution, but I don't think he realized that. So, all right. We'll get more into Beckham and OBJ. I'm sure it's going to come up more in the comments.
Don't forget, guys, add your questions for one last drive.
Yeah. Add your questions now so we can get to them. Like it's definitely a lighter night. So,
and Craig, you saw Harbaugh's comments, right? From the
again, you're, and this is not aimed at you, Chris. You're the 7th person that asked me that, and I'm just like, look, I don't know what kind of work structure everybody has. I've never met a real pro that talks bad about anybody.
But I find it funny. I find it interesting how he didn't cut it short. He kind of elaborated a little further. And it kind of just piqued my interest that, hey, you know what? Maybe there is something here because he could have shut it down, right? Sean? He could have shut it down.
Yeah, and he said he's been texting me every day. He said they've had conversations. It sounded like, if I heard him correctly, it sounded like they said they've had conversations about the possibility here. Where he didn't say possibility, but he said, I believe, and somebody correct me if I'm wrong, he said that we've texted and we've talked about that.
He's one of my favorite people in the world. I mean, that's pretty strong.
Yeah, if he's texting him every day, and if they're talking about him potentially coming here,
there's a lot of gamesmanship in there, guys.
But you don't need to say that. But there's no reason.
No, you do. If you're,
I get your point.
In the people game, that's what you do. You talk highly of players because that's your
one of my favorite people in the world. I mean, one of you really.
But we all know that's crap because there's no possible way.
I understand, but it's so far out there. That's not something you would expect.
Which would lead you to believe it's a little bit of bullshit.
Well, it also leads me to be that Harbaugh is kind of read the tea leaves. I get the feeling, don't hold me to it, but I think the draft comes, the pieces, depending on what pieces are filled, the roster spots are open. I think my opinion, he comes in for a physical and gets an invite. That's just from after today.
And there's a couple other things, and I know G-Man R70I or 1 or whatever it is put it out there that both Dart and Neighbors said they would be in favor and be all good if Beckham came here. And apparently today on Beckham's Instagram, he was putting out him in Giants uniform again, and he made a
let's go. What do you say?
Yeah, something like that. So. He put another tweet out the day before. So again, could be something, could be nothing, but there's some things they got to make it fit. It's got to be right for him. It's got to be right for the Giants. But I think Harbaugh would be for it. Again, hearing what he said and again, Chris, excellent point. Like it wasn't a short answer. It wasn't like it was not coach speak. We've heard a lot of coach speak.
Oh my God.
I think the three of us can determine what is coach speak, what is not. And it did not sound like coach speak to me.
I thought it was exactly what John Harbaugh is a professional CEO of a team that he leaves all bases open. He likes everybody. He wants everyone to know that he's the guy running the franchise now. He's not going to talk bad about anyone. He wants to keep everyone on his side in case there's a possibility that he needs them. Who knows? He could sign him in the middle of the year. He could sign him in May. I just
I
don't.
think he likes the fact that Beckham loves football and
Mhm.
he's a football guy. Regardless of what you want to say about Beckham, Beckham is a football guy. He's got a lot of other things to him, but he is a football guy. He does love football. That has never been a
I
question
think he
about
likes
him.
being popular.
Well, of course he does. Listen, that age and that was the time when everybody was building their brand. So that was natural of that. It was a different time, different era of what people were trying to do. But regardless of that, he loves football. And we know Harbaugh has said a number of times he wants guys who love football.
Well,
Let
me bring even this one up because Cole's got a really good point. Like he says the only thing he finds weird is the tail end of his career. Wouldn't he want to play for a contender again? And like go back to the Rams or something like that. And again, all of them are good points. Like, yes, the coach is giving you like, hey, he's a good guy because John Harbaugh's not going to speak negatively about anyone. Yes, there's probably not a big market for OBJ. So yes, he's going to go where his butter is, bread is buttered, wherever that cliche is, right? He's going to go where people like him, and he knows John Harbaugh likes him, so he's going to pursue that because he wants to get paid like any other NFL player wants to, right?
Yep.
So of course,
yeah, and the Giants' receiving room is a work in progress. You can't compare it against the Rams. The Rams have a better receiving core, and now you have a neighbors coming off an injury. I think the opportunity better serves Beckham with the Giants just because there's just so much. It's in flux right now with
yeah. I would say that if he was like a healthy guy that wasn't coming off PEDs, that wasn't coming off knee surgery or coming off a down year, I'd say 100%. Like he's the unknown too. So I don't know how much of that. You are correct. He's probably like, hey, if I'm healthy, I could jump in here. I don't know. He hasn't.
Yeah, and that's what's great about training camp. We're not talking about after the second week of a season, he's on the street and let's bring him in for a tryout. He's got to go through the OTAs. He's got to go through mini camps. I mean,
and he hasn't played a full year, right,
Yeah.
Chris? He hasn't played a full year in what, 5 years?
So it's a perfect opportunity to see if he can actually get through it, and maybe he doesn't.
I mentioned this earlier. At a minimum, if you're the number 4 or 5 or 6 receiver on any team, you have to play special teams. So he is a punt returner. He is a kick returner. He could, at a league minimum, a veteran minimum, could come in here as wide receiver number 5 and return kicks.
Hey, we saw Gunner last year have a couple of concussions, right? So there's no guarantee he makes it through the season as the returner.
Yeah, or just giving him a break.
Yeah,
you know what
right.
I mean? And alternate because again, I don't know what Beckham's explosiveness is anymore. I just know he hasn't played a lot of football in 5 years. If he makes the team, by the way, I'm going on record to say that John Harbaugh is never going to cut Odell Beckham. It would just be a nightmare for many reasons. Whether you believe that or not, it would just be bad PR, right? So I don't think he would cut him.
Let's not forget too, this is the second time that this has surfaced. There was a couple of years ago where Shane actually talked to Beckham about possibly joining, and that did not work out. So I think there is legit interest on both sides. Again, just going to make sense, and if Harbaugh is good with it, so I would not be surprised if he ends up here. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but it would not surprise me.
No, wouldn't surprise me at all. I don't think it surprised me at all. Do I think it's necessary? No. Do I think he makes the wide receiver room better? No. Does it hurt the room? No. Doesn't do anything. What it could do is make your kick return better, right? It could do that, right? Because it's only Gunner, and Gunner's a little dude, and he gets hit hard, right? So it could make your return game better. But again, I don't know if he can return kicks anymore. I have no idea. So,
but I also think it does make the wide receiver room better because his practice habits are really good. And the fact of how he developed his hands, other guys need to learn that. And they're going to see that because yes, Darius Slayton is a vet, but he's not teaching people how to have better hands. Let's be honest.
Right. Slayton is about
Odell is going to make that wide receiver room better by route running and by how to improve your hands. So
I don't think
it's
Odell,
a valid point. I disagree. And I think he makes the room better.
Yeah, I don't see Odell like taking Mooney and being like, listen, let me tell you how to catch better because I've got better hands than you. I don't see anything like that.
It doesn't matter. He doesn't have to do it and say it. He's just what he does and the effort he puts in. People are going to notice that and they're going to follow. He's going to lead by example. He doesn't have to say, hey, Darnell, come with me because I'm going to make you have better hands. But some of the younger guys, even a Malik Neighbors, is going to look and be like, oh, this is what Beckham's doing. Yeah. Yeah, Neighbors is a huge fan of Beckham.
He is, but there's
huge fan. You don't think he's going to pay attention to how Beckham practices or what he does after practice, before practice?
Maybe.
Absolutely.
The guy hasn't played any ball in 5 or 6 years.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Malik Neighbor, no, not as a player. You know this.
Then we
as
should.
I'm talking about what I'm saying doesn't matter is that Malik Neighbors is not like, oh man, Odell hasn't played in 5 years. I'm not going to pay attention
there you
to
go.
what he does.
Again, when have you heard Odell being a teacher in that way? Never.
When have we heard it? He hasn't. Have I paid attention to see if he has or hasn't?
Everything the guy does makes the front page. Come on now. Everything he's ever done.
I don't
anywhere.
remember them saying that he didn't do it.
Listen, he practices hard, right?
On everything
he
else.
practices hard. That's one thing we know. He practices hard. Lead by example. He practices hard.
Yeah.
These guys are going to have to, they're going to want to, I would think, practice hard as well.
900,000 in return kicks. I'm on board. Let's move on to the second topic because there is some. Wait. Why? Okay, you're shaking your head. We're gonna go back to the topic.
I mean, he was out there with the jugs machine. That was reported all the time. What he did before, after practice, the routes he was running, the work he put in, how he important to improve his hands.
You realize
guys are going to pay attention to that. Guys,
you do realize it's a minimum, right? That's what receivers do.
Is what?
That's kind of what.
Not all of them put in as much effort as he did. That was well reported. If that was the case, other people would be doing. They're not doing it the same. That's the whole point.
So Neighbors, Hodgins, Mooney, Gunner, these guys don't use jug machines. They don't.
That's not what I'm saying. The amount of time he spent doing that thing. They don't.
Where do we have any documentation?
It was all reported when he was with the Giants. The amount of time he was putting in, how he practiced, what he did, the extra stuff he put in. I remember that.
We did hear that he would stay late after practice and work on routes and stuff. He wouldn't be heading in.
Absolutely. And if our quarterback and our wide receiver one want him on the team, there's a reason for it. Again, they're not going to look and be like, oh man, he hasn't been productive in 6 years because he's been injured. They're going to look at him and say, okay, this is Odell Beckham and I can learn things from him.
Like, I think it's it's definitely a high risk, high reward, low risk. I mean, Harbaugh knows what he would be getting with him. It wouldn't be any surprise. He's played for him.
Well, that's and again, to be clear, I'm making these points and I'm not even advocating for him to be signed, but I'm not going to be upset if he is signed. So let me be crystal clear. I'm not out there banging the table, go sign Odell. I'm just saying, logically, I can see how it makes sense, and I can see why guys would want on the team, and I can see why it would make the wide receiver room better.
Fair enough.
Once again, we've said it a number of times. You go into training camp with 90 players.
Yep, sorry.
If there's a spot to bring him in.
He did the 1 year. He played 50% of the snaps. He had over 500 yards. He was averaging over 16 yards per catch, and he had 3 touchdowns in playing 50% of the snaps. So he did do nothing in Miami. There we go. He got injured.
Wait, how many years ago was that?
What, Miami was last year?
Oh, I thought he got called for PEDs last year.
Oh, yeah. All right. Yeah, that's why he missed. Yeah, he didn't get.
So it's been 2 seasons, 3. Oh, he hasn't done anything in 3 seasons. I got
2023, 2 seasons.
2 seasons.
Yeah, we're coming up on the 3rd season.
We haven't had a 3rd season yet, so we don't know if he's going to do anything. So it's been 2 seasons. You're making it seem like it's been forever. It's been 2 seasons. 2023 was his last productive season.
I'll say it again. If the guy's name was John Smith, you guys would be going, if we signed a guy with 2 ACL surgeries, got called for PEDs, and hasn't played good ball, he's only played ball 2 of 6 years, you guys would be freaking out. You guys would be like, Dable sucks. John Mara sucks. Everybody sucks. You guys would be freaking out if you took the body of work over 6 years and went, wait a minute, you're going to spend money on a guy with 2 ACLs, got called for PEDs, has been on 5 teams in 6 years, and you got, 3 teams in 5 years, you guys would be freaking out. You guys would be freaking out. I'm sorry. You guys would be freaking out.
Chris, back me up this. He's not John Smith, though, is he?
Yeah, I mean, maybe
he hasn't been Odell Beckham in 6 years.
But an Odell that got 500 yards 3 seasons ago.
500 yards is the minimum. Number 2.
He was a 4. He was a 4 receiver, maybe not right, Sean. Was he a 4?
Wide receiver 3, and he played in 50% of the snaps. You already said 2 shows ago or last week. I don't remember, Craig. If he got over 500 yards, you would sign up for that. You'd have no problem.
I would.
Would you rather have Odell or Bo Collins? I know what Odell.
Odell because he can return kicks. Because Collins can't do anything.
Right. So Bo Collins currently is on the roster. I think there's a low risk with Odell putting him on the roster.
But you and I both know that Bo Collins is not going to be on the roster. He's on there today as a body.
Okay. But once
He
again,
may.
he is on the roster,
Practice
and that's
squad.
all we're saying about Odell.
Right.
If he were to pass the physical, once again, he has to pass the physical. He has to, I'm sure he's going to have to come in and do maybe not a tryout, but get an invite. He's got to make the team.
Oh,
We're not giving him
you can take it to the
roster
bank
spot.
that if he gets an invite, they're not cutting him. They're not cutting him. It would be a disrespect for someone
I
of
don't think
Odell's
Harbaugh.
stature.
I think Harbaugh is an old school type of coach. I don't think he would care about that. He'd care, but I don't think that would stop him.
He said he was his favorite person in the world, bro. He's already kissing ass on the guy.
But it doesn't mean
you're out there saying that he's one of your favorite humans in the world, you don't go cut and embarrass one of your favorite humans.
He's not going to bring him in unless he thinks he can make the roster. Now,
Exactly.
something weird happens, right?
Exactly.
Which there's nothing wrong with that. If he's good enough to make the roster, then he's not taking.
How
a spot
would he
away
know
from
that?
somebody. You got to make the roster because you go through the physicals, you check his medicals, you have conversations, you do a private workout with him. Like there's things you're gonna know. Like Harbaugh's been in the league, what? He's been a head coach.
It's not about Harbaugh.
I know, but I'm saying I think he would have a pretty good idea to know if somebody could make the roster or not.
Let's then again to your original point. He's not cutting. If Odell gets an invite, forget it. There's no reason to talk about it anymore. He's not
unless he
cutting
just
Odell.
comes in and like shits the bed.
But you know it won't happen because he's gonna go, thank you, John, for giving me an opportunity where nobody else would. And thank you very much. And he's going to do what Odell does.
If he's not running the routes and have the explosion off the line and practice, they'll see that. They won't make it. We've seen receivers before that were veterans. We've seen guys all the time.
But Bo Collins is on the roster and he's got no exposure.
Well, of course, because you have
He's
90.
not,
He may not make the team.
And he's not going to make a scene to Harbaugh. He respects Harbaugh. He
exactly.
said things,
but he's not cutting him. If he comes in, he's not cutting.
But if he does, Odell's not going to make a scene. He's not going to do that to Harbaugh.
There is no way he's cutting Odell after he just raved about how he's his favorite person in the world.
He may not.
He's doing him a favor. I'm bringing you in because nobody else will. The flag football thing is garbage. It's flag football, not the NFL on a little tiny little ball.
There's still athleticism, regardless if it's flag football or not. You still got to jump in the air. You still got to catch the ball. That's what matters.
Training camp is a long time.
He
gets healthy. He's got to make it through training camp. I think the health concern is probably more so can he still play. Exactly. I think it's can he make it through training camp healthy, through the OTAs, through the mini camps, through training camp.
Chris, if they want him to make it, they'll lay up on him. They're not going to push him where his 40-year-old body can't play.
Well, you don't need to. You don't need to push them hard. You're gonna if you have somebody like that, you're gonna go. Would they do it with a lot of players?
I know, but that's
he's
the
going to
whole
go
point.
through
They're not going to make it hard for him to
they're
make
going to
the
be
team.
smart about it. Oh, okay.
And no, he's not going to be on the other side, Corey, of Odell. He's going to be a 5-snap player, 5 to 6 snaps a game player. He is not going to be running 40 routes a game. Odell is there to run as a 4.
Yeah, and injuries will dictate how much he actually plays too. Because injuries will happen, and he'll get more playing time depending on injuries.
He's not coming in to run the opposite side of Neighbors. We don't know if Neighbors is going to be healthy, but if Neighbors is healthy, Odell is not coming in to run too. The guy hasn't played much football in 6 years, so let's just be realistic, please. Mm-hmm. He's got to make the team, and then if he makes the team, you know Harbaugh's not cutting him, so we're carrying his weight anyway. So if he is here and he's getting a pass to be here, then he's got to contribute. And to contribute, when you're Odell Beckham and you're wide receiver 4 or 5, you got to play special teams. Mm-hmm. He is probably still a good kick returner. You know, he could probably still do that.
I mean, he was wide receiver 3 or 4 in Baltimore, and you didn't hear anything of him. You didn't hear boo. There was nothing in the media. There was no trouble. No, he was not the main guy there. He was literally wide receiver 3 or 4 in Baltimore.
Well, it's because the wide receiver 1's a tight end.
Well, it does, but even in you had
Hollywood Brown,
you had Zay Flowers, you had Hollywood Brown, you had other guys that were ahead of him in the depth chart, and you didn't hear boo out of them.
He was their 3. Mm-hmm. He was their 3. Again, he hasn't played much football. So it's been a long time since he's played football.
Then he should be fresh.
Exactly.
He should be fresh.
Oh my God. You guys are insane.
I think Chris and I are being very realistic. We understand the injuries. We understand he's not Odell Beckham from 2018. We understand all of that.
Craig, you
We're
act
just
like this
saying
is
he
like
can-
week 3. It's
Right,
not-
exactly.
it's
What?
not-
We're saying give him a chance. Let's see if he makes
Yeah.
the team. And we both believe he can make this team better.
I see your point, Craig, but it's not week
Yeah.
3 where the guy is sitting on the, he's just hanging around that he's waiting for something.
There's
Like, he's got to
guys
go
that are-
through the process. Like, he's got to earn it. He's gotta
And you
make it.
don't think there's anybody out there than a PED using 2 ACL wide receiver that hasn't produced in 6 years? You don't think there's anyone out there
Listen,
that's better
we,
than that?
We saw it with Jawan Jennings, Ayuk, right? Is still out there. Ayuk's coming off an injury too.
And none of
But
those
yeah,
guys.
None of those
you don't
guys been
think-
signed by anybody.
We don't know.
They haven't
behind the
been
scenes
signed
what's
by
going
anybody.
on. Yeah, we
My-
don't
that's
know.
not the
But-
question if they've been signed. The question is, you think
Well, why haven't they been signed?
Right.
those guys want to get paid?
Okay. So there's less of a
I mean, Jennings is
less of
like,
a paycheck for Odell. He's going to get a he's going
Exactly.
to get a minimal contract.
yes, but that's not what we're talking about money. You're saying he's better than those guys.
I'm not saying he's better than those guys. I don't know if he's better, but I think money comes into play. We saw Shane today say that they.
So
still
you're
have their
saying they
eyes out
bring
for
him
other
in because
players.
he's cheap, not because he's better.
I think it's both because there's an unknown.
So he's better than Debo and he's better than Jennings.
I don't think he is, but
I
when you
think
factor in
well,
money-
if he's healthy, he's better than Debo. Debo Samuel has first of all, is Samuel even a free agent? Are we confusing him
Yes.
with Brandon Ayuk?
No, it's Debo.
Because Samuel isn't he still
Debo.
in Washington?
No, it's
no,
Debo.
he got
Yeah,
released.
Debo has lost. Listen, if Washington's not bringing him
He's coming
back,
off an injury though.
exactly. So yeah, I don't. Yeah, and he
Debo
was.
has not missed 3 out of 6 years.
It's not the point. How productive? How productive was? You're asking who's better as a player, not who's missed time.
And Washington got
Debo
rid of him
Samuel
after
was-
one season.
Exactly.
He was a big
Washington
signing
is
last year.
not like wide receiver haven over there. They got like worse receivers than us. So yeah, Debo is not an all-star.
I think it's a low risk, high reward. That's really what
Yeah,
it comes down
and
to.
while I'm not saying he's better than everybody that's out there, but he's definitely better than a couple people. It's just an
But
injury.
he's
concern.
not better than guys that produced the last 6 years. There are listen. I mean, I don't know if you guys ever listen to Moving the Chains. I know Chris, you're on the road
Always
a lot
do,
sometimes.
Yeah.
I mean, Pat said the first thing is that this was leaked by Odell. There was no interest in Odell, and the teams that again, people could hate Pat Kerwin. I don't have any skin in the game
No,
on
he's
Pat
great.
Kerwin,
He's great. Mhm.
but he's connected to a lot of
Mhm.
folks, and he said that any legit team that needs a wide receiver is not looking at Odell because he caught a ball and flag
Right.
football and the athleticism. Pat Kerwin said that there are 6 receivers right now that are being judged and evaluated by teams that need wide receivers number 3.
Mhm.
And Odell is not in there. Okay. They're going to go to other places, right? There's even what's his name who came back that's out there, Renfro, right? And Debo Samuels and Jennings and what's his name, Diggs. There's a bunch of these cats that are out there. You have to tolerate the shenanigans of these dudes. And if you're not that person, you could say, well, I'll sign Odell because he has the utmost respect for Harbaugh. So he would keep in line and he wouldn't get the diva that Debo is or Diggs is, right? So there's a lot that comes to in play. But the production, the body of work is not on Beckham's side. His side is that he respects Harbaugh. Harbaugh respects him. And that if Harbaugh tells him to come in here and be a good soldier, he would come in here and be a good soldier. That's what you'd be paying for, not for a number 3 or a number 4, right? Because he just hasn't done that in 6 years, guys. Come on, let's just be real. He hasn't done it in 6 years.
On a 3rd and 5, you wouldn't be excited to see him on the field on a big 3rd and 5, or would you rather see Slayton on a 3rd and 5? Who would you trust more on a
I
big
mean,
spot?
you're
On a
asking
big
me a
spot?
hard
Wait,
question because
big
he
spot.
hasn't played any ball. I don't know
But
what
you
he can
keep
do.
saying 6 years. What year did the Rams win the Super Bowl when he was on that team? He produced that year,
That was
Yeah, big catch in the Super Bowl, too.
2001.
21. So that was
5
4
years.
years ago.
Well,
It was 4 years. I think
Yeah.
the 6 years is a little.
the 6
I
years
think
was the
we're
last time
exaggerating on his.
he had a legit full season of playing good football.
And he
Okay,
blew the
but
knee
you-
out in the
Well,
Super
I should say 5 years. We're going into the 6th year.
Yeah, but he produced with the Rams, and he was producing in that
For
game. in the
Odell
Super
Beckham
Bowl.
Jr., 500 yards is not producing.
What was his yards when he had with the Rams? That was 500, was 50% of snaps in 2023. So 2 out of the last 4 seasons,
But
he's
that's
produced.
below average for a number 3 receiver.
But I understand, but you're saying he hasn't produced in 6 years, and he has produced. He produced with the Rams,
He's
and he
caught some
produced
balls. He's Odell
produced.
Beckham Jr., and he
Somebody
has
look
caught
up
some
what
balls.
he did in his year with the Rams and how
I'd
many
have to-
games he played.
I'll look it up in a minute.
Okay.
Let's move on though, because I'm
Yes.
bored. I'm bored.
Let's go. Let's move on.
Biggest thing, and I know this is like, in both your wheelhouses here, is tell me if we have enough playmakers at defensive tackle. It's a sore spot because the defensive tackles keep your linebackers clean. So whether it's our new linebacker from Chicago, Evans, McFadden, it's Styles or Musau, whoever is in the middle, you need defensive tackles to keep them clean so they can scrape, right? It's been a big time problem that our linebackers who aren't very good, or haven't been very good. We've had some spurts, but they're never clean. Do we, Sean, have enough depth at defensive tackle? Because they signed a bunch of dudes that are just, a lot of them are Jags. I'm not saying they're bad. Jag, just another guy. They're another defensive tackle to throw in there. We'll get a better rotation because Bowen's gone. But just talent-wise, do we have enough talent at defensive tackle?
I think we need 1 or 2 more. Today, I don't think we're as bad as people think. Again, a lot has to do with scheme and coaching and getting guys produced. But I do think we need 1 or 2 more D tackles. Especially in the backup rotation. Like, that's the thing, like, people don't realize too. Like, everybody wants us to sign stars or starters. Our depth was the problem. Like, that was a big problem at D tackle, in my opinion, was when guys subbed out, it went down. Like, so we need some guys on that second and third string that are better than what we have. So if we can add, we added the guy from Atlanta who helps as a better backup. We brought in the guy from Cleveland. I forget his name offhand right now, who could come in and provide really good backup depth. Has been a productive player in this league for a while. A nice vet addition there. So yeah, I think 1 or 2 more D tackles, whether that's in free agency alone, free agency and draft, or both in the draft, I'd say 1 or 2 more are needed.
All right, but I'm going to put your feet to the fire here. Is the defensive tackle someone you're signing or someone that you're drafting? Like, who's your first go-to here? Because you need something. Is there someone out there good enough to sign, or do you want to draft them?
Yeah. So okay. So if I'm going to sign somebody, I'm going to sign Calais Campbell. He's still very productive. He's a vet. He played for a Harbaugh in that system, so he understands what Denard Wilson wants to do. Mm-hmm. And I think him opposite Dex would be really, really good. So that's a guy I'm going to look to sign. And then I'm going to pair him with somebody in the draft because there's some good D tackles in this draft we can get in the later rounds. And that way he can help develop them.
I like that a lot, actually. That is a really good plan. Chris, kind of springboarding off of what Sean just said, right? Maybe Campbell, right? Because maybe he's got some.
Even at his age, he was productive. Yeah.
Yeah. So
DJ Reader's still out there. That's
Reader,
the name.
Okay, Reader's still out there. But wait, I got a question on your guy. Does Thibodeau come into play here with defensive tackle? Would they actually trade for another guy of the same caliber, right? Like, like Sean had said, maybe they keep Tibbs and they put his hand in the dirt, let him play DN. I don't know. He doesn't really have the body style for it. I know he did it in college. Doesn't really seem, his forte in the pros. Doesn't mean he couldn't do it. But, is Tibbs in play here?
It's interesting, but the only thing you have to be concerned with as the other team in the trade is that you only have Thibodeau for a year. So if you're giving up a player that has a multi-year contract, the Giants will actually benefit with that player a couple years longer. Thibodeau, this is a 1-year deal, so it's kind of maybe a salary dump or something like that. But I would think that it'd have to be a team that's ready to win now to on a Thibodeau for a year, possibly not be able to re-sign him.
A couple guys in the chat are talking about Wilkins, Chris. What's the rub on Wilkins? Why aren't we looking at Wilkins?
I heard his name out there, but I don't know. That's just one of the names floated out there. That's available, but I don't know. I think he has, he had a couple off the in the locker room issues, right? There was a couple things. He's coming off the ankle injury. I don't know if he's been cleared the physical. He said he's ready, but I don't think he's actually passed the physical. And then there was some locker room stuff happening. So I think in my opinion, once again, I think after the draft, there's that next wave of free agents to fill spots at some value deals. So I think the Giants go into the draft. They see if they can fill these spots, defensive tackle, corner, and some of these other areas, linebacker. And then they're going to see what's left out there after the draft. You heard Joe Shane today say as well, that right now they got their eyes on players, but depending on the money situation, which they don't have a lot of, they're gonna just keep an eye on things. That's what it sounded like.
So, like I said to Sean a second ago, would you rather draft a D tackle, let's say in the 4th round? Giants don't have a 3rd, so you go to the 4th, right? Because I would be pressed to see them draft a D tackle in the 2nd round, but it's happened. But would you rather than them bring in a D tackle in the 4th round that and then maybe he starts, or maybe it's like an Alexander rookie and Dex and Golston? Like, do you want them to spend the pick, I guess, is the question.
Yeah. I mean, to go off Sean's point, I think, with the draft only 3 weeks away, or 4, as we get into April, the next few days, Calais Campbell hasn't been signed. Reeder's still out there. I think you roll the dice, you see what you can get in the draft, and then there will be players available after the draft to fill spots. If Calais Campbell hasn't been signed now, I don't know. Does he get signed the next 3 weeks? Maybe, maybe not. He's 38 years old. Or is he 39? Gosh, he's pushing 40. So I don't know. He'd probably be a guy that might still be out there.
All right, segue it then. Same exact, Sean, same exact scenario here, right? Do we have enough playmakers at the running back position? Because there are two definitive ways to look at this. I don't really know if there's any gray with this, because they kept Singletary, redid his deal, right? Yeah. You've got Tracy, who has been I think is more of a kind of like a healthy surprise. When a guy's healthy, he's got 1,000 yards, all-purpose yards, right? And then Scadaboo, who was on pace for 800, I could be wrong here, don't hold me to the exact number, but I think he was on pace for 840, 860 yards rushing and 10 touchdowns, because he did have some receiving touchdowns too. And then, of course, you bring in the mother load, with what do you call that? Fullback.
Ricard.
Ricard, thank you. Couldn't get it out. And Ricard, there's this 50% that you're saying, you know what? I've got the guys that can run the rock. Now I've got the fullback to just be blowing open holes. These 3 guys should be able to score points for us, because they all have different skill sets, right? Very reminiscent of Earth, Wind, and Fire, right? Right. Where you got a slasher like Singletary, right? You got a kind of a smoother guy with Tracy, and then you got the ground and pound of Scadaboo.
And they all can catch out of the backfield. They all have good hands.
Yes, and they can all catch out of the backfield. Great point, Chris.
And Singletary's a great at pass protection. Probably the best.
Believe it or not, he might be the best of the 3 at pass protection. So, Sean, is it the case where we have enough playmakers at running back? And I'm including Ricard.
Yeah. So I think there are enough playmakers, but I would still like to add another one to the running back room. Singletary still, I'm not feeling it with him there. But yes, if we didn't bring another running back in or didn't add another running back, I think we do have enough playmakers, but I would want one more.
So right now, if I turn the season on, you're cool with Singletary, Tracy, Scadaboo.
You got 2 guys that, like, Scat was out there running routes today. There was video circulating with him working out with Dart. He's running routes. Tracy's really good out of the backfield. So you got guys that are weapons out of that backfield and can run it well. Singletary's a, decent RB4, RB3, RB4. So yeah, I'd be perfectly fine with Tracy and Scadaboo. But I would like to add another running back,
a free agent running back,
whether it's draft or I might look for the draft actually for a running back.
Okay. Chris, how about you? Do we have enough playmakers here? Can we go into the season saying, if you really just look at the raw numbers, I mean, there's like 2,500 yards rushing in there. You know what I mean? Like, an all purpose could be even more than that. Like, do we really need to invest in this spot, or is this like, hey, we're going to get rid of Singletary next year, so we need another back?
I think Tracy is the one that I'm concerned about with some of the fumbles. I think the Giants were 5th in rushing last year, right? Weren't they 5th?
Yep.
Yeah, pretty high.
So, I mean, I think with, Greg Roman now as the running coordinator, Patrick Ricard as the fullback, I think the running back position is going to be pretty solid. It's like the sum of its parts, right? They may not be, other than Scatterwood when he was flashing, before he got hurt. I think, it's a nice group, but I think it's not the main priority. I think if they can get somebody in the draft in a later round, there's always running backs later on, and there will be a couple free agents that may still have to see the list. But I think they could fill a spot. Well, obviously injuries happen, right? So right now they have 4 with Ricard, right? Is that right? So they have 4 running backs total with Ricard.
So if the season started today, you'd be okay with the way it is?
I'd be okay based on last year how they ran the ball fairly well. But I'm with Sean. I mean, I think that Tracy reminds me of a Wayne Gallman a little bit. I trust him, but I don't. I trust him, but I don't trust him. I feel like there could be an upgrade with Tracy. I don't say he's a definite making the roster. I don't.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't see it at all. I mean, the guy's given us 1,000 yards all purpose back-to-back years. Mm-hmm. I know he's not that flashy guy, and he doesn't run dudes over, but I've seen him make something out of nothing for 2 years on it was, his injuries more than the fumbles for me. Right. You get a fumble or two. He does get nicked up a little bit. Mm-hmm. So, and like I said, we can't seem to get Turbo Miller on the field. So it's like,
that's right.
I'm like, if they did bring a running back, I could see a 4th or 5th round running back, no doubt.
I like Tracy. The ball. Sean, you know all the stats. I mean, was he at the top of the list for fumbles last year?
No, I don't think so. Backs? I think that because not that I remember. Okay. Anyway, I think his rookie year he struggled a little bit, but then last year he improved upon it. Yeah. With that, so no. And as far as Turbo, I think Turbo's still learning the game of football because he sat out for a year. So I think that's holding him back. I don't know what Harbaugh thinks of him. Mm-hmm. He's got speed, but can he pass protect? Can he do the things that need to be done? Yeah. Are they going to think that he's RB4 and that's who they're going to carry on the roster? I don't know. I just think, again, people have to remember he sat out a full year of playing and that hurts in your development. So as much as he's flashy, as much as he got speed, he's got to know the game, and there's a lot he has to know. So, maybe he picks it up this year. Who knows?
You know who else sat out a year?
I don't know who sat out a year, Craig.
Odell Beckham Jr.
True, but Odell played in the league before sitting out a year.
I don't know, man. Just making a point that he's, guys, they sit down for a year. I like Turbo Miller.
Apples and oranges.
I like Turbo Miller. I wish he would get a shot. All right, guys, here's something that, again, this is all about Playmakers. This is the Playmaker edition of Giants Rush. By the way, if you're hanging out here and you haven't told your friends about the show, do us a favor, tell them, say, hey, go to subscribe. If you're not a YouTube guy, subscribe, just let you know when we put new content up. We're here live every single Monday at 7:30. We've been here for a long time talking Giants football. Ryan Dunleavy from the New York Post is usually on with us every other week. And we try to get some interviews with players. Sometimes it's hit and miss. Some years, right, Chris? Well, one year we had Hodgins, Gates, McFadden, and Belton, all in 1 year. Oh yeah. And then some years we don't get any. So, but we do try to bring you guys original content. We could use you guys to reach out and subscribe to the YouTube channel. It does help us, build a little bit of a business here. So we do appreciate that. Chris's carb, you can see it on the screen there. Giants Carb Crush. Make sure you follow him. Joker Sean's up top. Make sure you're following him. Of course, we got Spartan Mike and The Truth. Make sure you're following those guys. And we got 2 real quick sessions here. And this is probably easy for maybe some of you out there. As I alluded to earlier, Odell Beckham Jr. to me was the most electric offensive player the Giants have had. Or excuse me, a player they've had since Lawrence Taylor. Someone that exciting. But it was quick and flashy, right? And it didn't last long enough for me because the young Odell was super exciting to watch. Chris, if you could give me one guy in the last 25 years, give me one guy on the offense, one guy in the defense that was just
Wow.
Just, I mean, flat out playmaker where if you needed him to make a play, he made a play, or a guy that maybe he was overlooked for all pro, or maybe it's a guy who, maybe he's in a category.
So
because again,
I've
playmakers change who your team is, right? When you have playmakers, like when you think of the Rams, right? You think of Isaac Bruce and Hakeem, right? And
Torrey Holt.
Holt. So 25 years from 2000 to now, right?
Man. Well, 3 off the top of my head, but I don't know if can I throw 3 names out and come up with one?
That's Sean. I'm only giving you 2.
No, I won't do that. Okay. I got 3
Sean
names.
allowed
you gotta
to
leave some for me.
I have 3. All right. So,
I'm not talking about good player. I'm talking about the guy who just makes plays.
Yeah. I mean, I got
one on offense, one on defense.
So
your favorite.
Man, boy, this is tough. He saved Coughlin's job. I mean, I got it down to 3, and we see the one player in the preview. I won't mention.
You want me to go first? So if I don't pick your 3?
No, sure, don't choke. Don't choke.
All right, no. I'm going to with long playmaker.
Wow,
man.
I've stumped Chris.
This is tough. No, it's tough.
Wow.
There's 3 players on my mind right now in offense.
Well,
I'm gonna lean towards Tiki Barber. I'm gonna lean towards Tiki Barber for offense.
That was mine.
Okay. And now defense, boy, during that time, I mean, it's going to be on that line. I mean, I got to go with Michael Strahan.
Again, you took those were both mine.
After Sean's done, I'll give you the other 2. I guess maybe we could throw other names in, but
But for the record, those exactly were mine.
So there you go. Yeah, we're all right.
Like straight up, it was like
terrible minds think alike. Terrible minds think alike.
Yeah, there you go. I got a couple guys I'm going in between, so I might throw out a name that maybe people will be surprised offensively.
Go ahead, go for it.
So my offense, there's a couple ones that I was thinking about, but and I'll circle back and I can say the other ones I was thinking about too. But I'm going to go with Plexico Burress because we don't win the Super Bowl without him. So, and we also showed we go back to back if he doesn't shoot himself in the leg, because that offense in 2008 was virtually unstoppable.
And Sean, how about we don't even get to the Super Bowl because of the catches he made in the championship?
And he was doing it on a bad ankle in Green Bay with below 0 temperature. Like absolutely, it's absolutely 100% Plexico Burress, not even debatable.
You'll love this then, Sean. So in the mid 2000s, I worked for CBS in Philadelphia.
Yep.
And in Philadelphia, you're the broadcasting partner for the Eagles, right? Yep. So I used to I did Monday Night Football shows with a handful of people. One of them was Andy Reid. And then, of course, Andy Reid left and went to KC.
Yep.
And then once Reid left, we started doing players, right? So we did Brian Westbrook, and we did their inside linebacker, Trotter. And then when Trotter retired, we did, a bunch of other guys like Stuart Bradley, Quentin Michael, Asante Samuels. If you remember Asante Samuels, of course, from the Patriots. But this one, the 2 years that we had the most fun, there were the Eagles drafted in the first round, and in the second round, they drafted back-to-back defensive backs. Number 1 was Lito Shepherd in the first round. It was a Florida guy. And then the second round was Sheldon Brown, who came out of South Carolina. And Sheldon was known for, he made the front of Sports Illustrated cover for knocking out Reggie Bush on a swing pass or a screen pass. And I guess it was McNabb floated in the ball, and Sheldon just laid him out. Like it's like if you look it up, you'll see the cover of Sports Illustrated where Sheldon's laying out Reggie Bush. And so we did Monday. It was called Outside the Huddle with Sheldon Brown. And he was really cool. He brought out his friends every week. And he had told me on numerous occasions, the hardest receiver that he had to cover in that genre was Plaxico Burress. That he was just uncoverable because of the height, the wingspan. And he would dare you to cover him. He'd be like, cover me all you want. I'm catching this ball behind me, in front of me, over my head, below my knees. I'm catching it, and there's nothing you could do about it. He just said that he didn't run great routes, but he could find like just the open spot, sit down, catch it, and then give you a juke, right? And get a little, a little yak. So your point about Plaxico, if he had been with the Giants longer, or if he hadn't shot himself, there was a lot of winning to be had.
Yep.
Go on.
Now, defensively, the couple guys I was thinking about, but I'm going to go with Antonio Pierce defensively, because when he came in, changed that defense for the best. He was a leader of that team. He had guys in the right position. He's exactly what we needed as a middle linebacker at that time. So AP is my guy defensively.
Yeah, big film junkie too, by the way. How many times, you watch those films and you can see him calling out plays before they even run it. Yeah, AP is definitely up there. One of the better playmakers, that the Giants had in years. Again, another guy you wish was around longer, or that the Giants had, acquired him earlier. You know.
Yep.
Those are great. And Chris, you took my two because I'd never seen anybody. Once Tiki Barber got that eye surgery, that LASIK surgery, something changed in the way he saw the field. He was extremely patient. I used to love how he'd come through the line and he'd put his hand on the back of the guard and he'd just follow him through the hole, but he would wait almost like he was going to sit down.
Yeah. It was beautiful running the screen, right? When he ran the screen, man, he was so patient in back of the lineman. Just, I thought it was great.
Yeah. Big, 100% Tiki Barber. And Strahan was like, once you lose, Lawrence Taylor, you're like, oh, woe is me. We're never going to be able to do anything anymore. From a pass rush, and then this guy just stepped up and became an animal.
And he evolved. I mean, when he came into the league, he was a lot heavier. When he dropped to like 250, you saw the speed game now. Like he wasn't a speed rusher. He was more power. And then he kind of evolved into that speed rusher.
And that's a great point because he came in heavy, right? Playing more of almost like, playing that traditional role. Yeah. And then if I'm not mistaken, if I remember correctly, he tore his pectoral muscle. And then I remember him coming back like 15 pounds lighter, but never lost any strength. Still had that power. I mean, there's nothing better than watching Strahan bench press John Runyon from the Eagles into the backfield, play after play after play. Amazing. So much fun, man. So you definitely nailed my my two without a doubt.
Yeah. I'm surprised. A couple of names that weren't mentioned. Well, Chris, who are the other guys?
I was thinking when we talk offense, I was thinking Shockey, playmaker. Obviously, Odell, we talked about him, playmaker. But on defense, not that he went invisible, but he was always making, when there was a big play to be made, O.C. Umenyiora. Yeah. Whether it was the slap of the ball and the pickup, for the touchdown.
He always had that that
chop, and then he'd get the fumble himself. He was always making plays. So I think on a lower scale, as a playmaker, OC.
Well, here's two other names that I have, and one, Justin Tuck would be another one. He was coming in making big plays, and I'm surprised none of us said this name, Eli. None of us thought Eli. Is that it was too easy to pick Eli. That's what it was.
If we're talking Super Bowls,
yeah.
And playoffs, definitely.
And there's always some outliers, like anytime that Bradshaw touched the ball, something really cool happened. You know what I mean? Early in his career, every time Jacobs carried the ball, something cool happened, right? They had some. I know they weren't known for this powerhouse offense, but they did. Cool plays.
Yeah, I was thinking. Hakeem Nicks was one of my favorites when he came in. That Atlanta game in the playoffs was just amazing. What he did, took that slant, took it to the house. Again, he just excelled in the playoffs. That guy. Talk about catching a ball. Holy cow! So that's another one.
If you want to talk quarterbacks, playmaker within 2 minutes, Eli Manning, one of the best in the 2-minute offense. Right?
And I think he still might hold the record for fourth quarter comebacks.
I think he might.
All right, guys, last topic before we get to one last drive. Really super, actually not even really, it's just it's a comment is. So draft show, folks, this is what we do. We're going to be live on Thursday and Friday. Chris is hosting Friday. Sean is hosting on Thursday. I know you guys are already talking to your people. So if you want to be part of the show, you get 15 minutes. So who's in, who's out, let us know. I'll send out invites via Twitter like I normally do. Look, you come on, you talk to us about the draft picks, who you like, who you hate. Who's a better host, Sean or Truth or Spartan Mike's going to be on with Chris on Friday. and Sean and I will be on Thursday. And I think Truth might bounce between the two. Don't know yet. But if you guys have a format, I'm open. If you guys have something that you want to do, something that would be fun, let us know. I'm open to all sorts of ideas to make that night fun. So no, Drew, he's not coming to hang out with you. He's hanging with me.
See, but it worked last year, Drew, because I was on with you guys night one last year. Now I'm on night one this year here. So thank you for the assist.
No doubt about. Good to see you. Give a shout out to
maybe night two.
What's that?
I said maybe night two with the goofballs.
Maybe. They're good guys. They do a good job.
Absolutely.
All right, one last drive. Let's get.
Hey, by the way, I got to mention Mr. Jay Verde. I mean, great Cruz, right? Big playmaker. He's not making maybe our list.
Yeah, that's a good choice too. Yeah.
You know what? That one's hard because it was like a 3-year window.
Yes. When you're talking all those years, you're trying to compile a good sample, But that's a good one.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing. Like, yes, on Cruz, right? But it's like a 3-year window. Right?
Maybe we have another segment called almost like the music, like a one-hit wonder, a 2-hit wonder. What player for like 1 or 2 seasons just lit it up and then that was the end?
That's a really good topic.
Yeah,
that's a really good idea.
We can go back. I mean, we've seen players. Yeah. Like Ramses Barton. Oh my God! We'll have
to call it the Carb Crush one-hit wonder.
There you go, Chris, bringing the heat with
I don't know. We could come up with a few players for that.
I'm sure there are. You were the guy, like, who was like that? Yeah. Gary Brown.
Oh my God, tough runner. Gary
Brown. I think I forget who the run. If it was Hampton and Hampton went down, and that 1 year Gary Brown went for like 12.
Was Ron Dane even a one-hit wonder?
No, he saw.
No. How about Tyrone Wheatley? I would say was a one hit. He had one season, maybe pretty good.
Maybe
with Rodney.
Darkwa was a one-hit wonder.
Oh my God! Absolutely. Darkwa. Wow. Wayne Gallman.
Kevin Boss.
See, but Kevin Boss again. Kevin Boss had all those concussions, but he had 3 legit good 3 years. Yeah.
Yep. David Wilson, good one. Yes, David Wilson. He got injured, but David Wilson.
All right, so let's do one last drive. If you guys got questions, put them in there. I'll roll back and see what's in there, and we'll figure it out. From there. I do need to find I'm looking for the where is my intro? How can I do without the intro? Boom, ending the show right here with your questions. I know sometimes you guys ask questions. Sometimes you're just, going at each other, and it's fun to read them later on. Sean usually comes from the bottom up. I usually go top down. So I'm looking for, and again, shout out for all you guys hanging out with us. Let's see. I'm looking for questions. I don't know if this is considered a question or not, because it says, Craig, come on, bro. That's BS. I don't think that's a question. Here you go. K-Mac wants to know, Sean, I'll give this one to you.
Yeah.
You guys think Shane was awkward today? I did.
I mean, I think he's just is what he is at this time. He knows he's not like the main focus anymore. I mean, they're talking to Harbaugh like Harbaugh is the GM, and they're asking Shane questions to kind of put him on the spot. So yeah, I think it's probably a little uncomfortable for him. So I do notice difference. Just same with the press conference when he announced Harbaugh, he looked awkward. So yeah, I do.
Yep. I get the feeling with Shane, when he knows it's coming, he gets worked up, and it's just, he knows that the questions are coming. The bullets are going to start flying. And it shows. It shows that, he's a little uneasy.
Yep. Chris, you mentioned one of these guys here, Reader, you mentioned. What about Sheldon Rankins?
Sheldon Rankins was another one they mentioned a couple of weeks ago. He came in actually for a visit. So that tells me that he's on the short list. Many cases before the draft, they tell these guys, listen, we'll keep in touch. We'll see what happens. Let us get to the draft. And then, maybe we'll be in touch. I think that's what happens with a lot of these visits before the draft. These holes and these guys they meet up with beforehand for possibility.
K-Max says, out of Styles, Love, Downs, there's only one of them you would not draft at 5. What's that?
He's saying, he's asking, is there one of them that we would not
Yeah,
draft
yeah,
at 5?
yeah. I mean, me personally at 5, I would not draft Love at 5. You know, I mean, I could move back and get him at 7, 8, 9, but Styles and Downs, there's a really good chance they're just not there. I mean, I know Love's a stud. I personally would not draft him at 5. I'm not drafting running backs that, you know, we already learned that lesson. So I don't think I would draft him at 5. I might draft him in the top 10, but I wouldn't draft him at 5. What else is in here? I'm looking. That might be all I can see. Jason, Verdict, you're right. Jason C was a stud. You are right. And then he even came back and played a couple years at safety, by the way, for the record, for the Giants and for
the knee injury, like he said, you know, that derailed his whole career.
Yeah. Yeah. They made spaghetti out of his knee because Fossil let him return kicks.
In a preseason game.
In a preseason game.
It wasn't even a regular game. Yeah.
Nope. So, all right. That's all you guys got. So, I'm going to start working heavy on this draft show. If you guys want us to put in any kind of trivia or anything like that, let us know. I'll get some stuff to give away. What else can I tell you, folks? If you want in, let us know, or I'll have the guys reach out to you.
Hold on, Craig. Cole's got one other question here.
Oh, Cole's got does the comp pick formula? Is there any concern with Styles being a workout warrior? His tape is great, but we've seen guys who flame out who did wonders at the combine. I don't know. I mean, he balls on the field. I mean, so this one's interesting, Cold, because if you remember the Eagles like moved way up in the draft for Mike Mamula. He was like the first player to set the combine on fire because he was a workout warrior, and then on the field he was terrible. I just don't know if, again, I don't know. I think Abdul Carter is a better player than Styles, but I think Styles is an enormous upgrade at linebacker. Like, I mean, listen, we're all big fans of McFadden because he comes on, but that leaves McFadden in as the third linebacker because they just paid Edmonds. So, that's a tough call. I don't see it. Doesn't mean he couldn't be.
I don't have any concerns, and here's why. Because he's the son of a former NFL players. His tape is there. Yes, we've already said that. Yeah, he's a workout warrior, but he's not just a workout warrior. And again, the fact that he's the son of a former NFL player and his brother is good as well tells me that he understands the game, so that'll translate onto the field. So no, I don't have any concerns.
Yeah, and Cold, I was just making the analogy that he says, was he a workout warrior? Like Mike Mamula was a workout warrior and didn't pan out. No, Styles is by far a better athlete than Mike Mamula was. I was just using it as an example that I don't think just because you're a workout warrior doesn't mean, you're not going to work out on the field. I mean, but again, aren't all these cats workout warriors? I mean, these guys train like nonstop. I mean, Wandale Robinson was a workout warrior, right? His dad was a trainer and stuff like that. So, I can hope for Downs or I can hope for Styles. I even like that, the guard that they've been talking about from Penn State and that other one from Miami.
The tackle.
Yeah. So a couple of these guys, got for me have value. And yes, I don't know, Chris, comp pick coming into play here. Do we have anything sitting out there that would garner the Giants a comp pick?
I don't think so right now. No. Do you know, Sean? I don't.
I mean, I know they're thinking about it because Shane came out and said that right now they may be owed a comp pick.
Do you remember who on. For who?
Yeah, I think because of Wandale. But they need it comes on to playing time with Schlotman. I think is the difference in the comp pick there.
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, we got to get clarification on that, but yeah, I think it's still.
Well,
Wandale might be Wandale. Right?
Again, we'll see you guys next week. I think Dunleavy will be back, and we'll see what he's been up to. So, like stay tuned. There's gonna be a lot
Yeah,
of things
and
happening.
April 6th, the off-season program begins. So that'll be Harbaugh's first time in front of the whole team. That's next week.
It's also my birthday.
Is it really? The 6th? All right.
You shouldn't wait a minute. That's a Friday, right?
No, it's a Monday. It's this
Dude,
Monday.
you can't do the show on your birthday. You got to go out.
I'm
and
not.
Oh, there you go. He's not going to be here. So me and Chris will just make fun of you while you're gone.
Absolutely.
Just
Wait,
kidding.
next Monday's the
I'd
6th
expect
already?
nothing less.
No,
Yeah, next Monday's the 6th.
Wow.
next month, yeah, because you
First
think about it.
is Thursday,
the
right?
first is Wednesday. So
Yeah. Wow. Well, we're in April. Okay. Jeez. Here we go.
yeah, man. Spring's here. Lacrosse is here, man. Lacrosse season is here. All right. Well, we're out of here. Good show. Appreciate good comments, all that stuff. And again, if you want in on the draft show, or if you were there last year and you want to return, or you're a newbie and you're like, dude, this sounds cool. Everybody gets 15 minutes of fame to hang out with us. And I don't know. I call it customer or fan appreciation day. Yeah. 100%. So it's the least we can do to give back to you guys for hanging out with us every single Monday for a year. It's pretty cool. Yeah, I do think it's cool. There's a couple of you guys that are just, OGs, and we appreciate you. We're out. We'll see you next week. If I can get it to actually